Welcome, everyone. We have an exciting guest today, Tony Hawk. Whether you've heard of Tony or not, you're going to have even more of a special surprise while listening. For a full circle moment, I met Corey when he was a boy with cancer who had his leg amputated. During one of Little Star's programs in 2006, Corey was invited to watch Tony skateboard. Now Corey, an award-winning teacher of fifth graders, and his talented class of students are going to start our Little Star Light interview with Tony. Tony, welcome. We are all honored to have you join us on Little Star Light.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Mr. Tony Hawk, this is Corey Sher. Nice to see you again. It's been about 17 years, so thank you so much for joining us today. My class is so excited to ask you some questions, all right? So we're going to go ahead and start.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much again for joining us. We're going to start off with Kaylee.
My first question is, what is it like to see yourself as a video game character?
It's pretty surreal. It's very exciting. But also sometimes it's cringy because I have to watch my character take really bad falls. And falls that would definitely end my skating career. So that's hard to disconnect from that sometimes, but it's an honor. It's really fun. And the best thing about having a video game character when you're my age is that you can make him look much younger.
Kaylee, another question.
Thank you. And my second question is, when you landed the first ever 900, how many times do you think you tried it before you landed it?
Oh, wow. Hundreds. I had been trying it for over 10 years at that point in my life. And I know a lot of people who saw that, they think, oh, he tried it 12 times. Like, that's a lot. You have no idea how many times came before that and how many times I gave up on it. So, but that's what it takes to do, to do things like skateboarding. It takes perseverance. It takes discipline, trying stuff over and over until you get it. And it's worth it. It really is. It teaches you a lot about what you're capable of and setting your own goals.
Yeah, thank you. And my last question is, when you're down and things aren't going your way, how do you find the light?
I just try to keep things in perspective and think about the bigger picture and my loved ones and how lucky I am and that, one skateboarding trick is not going to bring me all the happiness.
Yeah.
But also I like to have the resolve to think I can come back and try this again. And anything in life is if it's not going your way, if it's something that you're trying to learn, you can come back to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
so much. Our next question will be coming from Cody. All right, Cody, come on up, buddy.
Okay, well, before Cody asks his question, how many of you in Corey's class knew of Tony Hawk before? Have you heard of him? Look at that. Look at that influence. Wow. In every class probably around the country and the world, the hands will probably go up like that. So this is such an honor, Tony. All right, go ahead. We are ready for you, Cody.
When you get up to the top of the ramp, do you ever feel like you froze up and couldn't skateboard?
Not froze up, but definitely I get nervous, especially if I'm going to try something new to me or a new technique, or if there's a big crowd. I think that sometimes the excitement and the anxiety that a crowd brings, sometimes it'll work into your favor, but a lot of times it'll make you much more nervous and it'll make you fall or not be able to perform things that you can do almost any day. And so you have to sort of block that out. But to be honest, the last time that I was even scared when I was up on top of the ramp was I broke my leg last year. And when I came back from that and I came back to the ramp the first time and I was standing on the top, that was the first time I was scared in decades to go down a ramp, but I managed to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is going to be coming from Cammie. behind me.
When you fall, what inspires you to get back up?
The idea that it's possible, the idea that what I'm trying can be done. And if I keep at it, I'll probably get it. But it also depends on the severity of the fall. Sometimes the fall is bad enough to make me want to stop doing it either for a little while or altogether.
Thank you so much. These are great answers and great questions, boys and girls. Our next student is going to be Ben.
What was going through your head when you started getting like really famous with skateboarding?
It's strange because when I guess when I first started getting some notoriety, skateboarding had been so unpopular when I was a kid that to have people think I'm cool or recognize me for it seemed really strange. Because if you think about if someone wants to get into basketball or baseball or soccer, there are people who have become rich and famous from that. And so you can aspire to that. But with skateboarding, no one had become rich or famous. So for me, it was all new and it wasn't my goal. So it was very strange and I didn't really know how to act. And I realized down the line that I just got to be myself and not try to be someone that they expect me to be or someone that takes all this for granted. I'm so thankful to have all this and to have anyone care that I skate that for me, it's just this big, it's been an amazing bonus. But to answer your question, it was weird. I remember someone being like, "Hey, are you Tony Hawk? How do you know that? What did you look at my ID or something?"
All right, thank you. Our next question is from Peyton Bowen.
What was your biggest injury and how did you overcome it?
My biggest injury was my broken leg that happened almost a year ago. And that's been the hardest recovery of my life. And I am now finally getting back to a skill level that is worthy of being pro, not to where I was before I got hurt, but it's enough for me to be inspired to keep doing it. But it was this last year was very hard for me. And I'm excited to be moving past it because, to be honest, I got back on my skateboard too soon and I didn't allow my bone to heal. So for the first 8 months of my recovery, my bone was still disconnected. It was not together. So I had to have it reset by a doctor. And now I'm on the right path and I'm taking my time. So if any of you guys suffer a traumatic injury, take your time. That's my best advice.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Liam, come on down.
Hi.
Hi, Liam.
After every fracture or bone break, what keeps you going?
Skating has brought me so much joy and so much of my sense of identity that I want to get back out there, even if it's at a low level, because it's my freedom of expression. It's my way to be creative. It's my way to use my voice and use my style. So I'll be doing it at the lowest level as long as I can, just because that's what it provides me. It's my mental health. It's what makes me the happiest in terms of doing something physical.
Thank you. Hayden, come on down.
Did you ever get bullied when you chose skateboarding over other sports? And if so, how did you deal with that?
A lot. When I started skating, like I said, it was not cool. It was not something that people accepted. They said it was like a kid's toy. And as I got better at it, even less people liked it. So it got very hard, especially to be in school, because I was made fun of a lot. I used to have to hide my skateboard in the bushes when I go to school so that people wouldn't immediately recognize me as a skateboarder. And they would yell nasty things out when they'd see me skating, like in the parking lot. And how did I overcome that? I found my sense of community at the skate park. I found a group of people that I shared the same, passion with, that I shared the same sense of values with, and I would just lean on them. And at some point I realized that my classmates were not going to give me any sort of validation that I was looking for. So I just forgot about them. But it was hard.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Blake up next.
These are great questions. I want to ask one more question to the class. How many of you were nervous while Tony, they've been practicing like for a while, a long time. How many of you were nervous before coming up? Look at this. And you overcame it. Way to go. Way to go. All right. Keep going. This is awesome.
Come on, Blake.
Looking back on your career, what is the biggest impact skateboarding had on your life?
Well, it became my job, and it became a way to provide for my family, and it became a way to explore opportunities I never imagined. You know, the things that I get to do are unbelievable to me, that I get to do. I get to travel the world, and I get to meet so many new people, and I get to do promotions, and skateboarding's in the Olympics. I got to go to the Olympics. I got to be the first person on the course at the Olympics because the skaters for the park event hadn't gotten there yet. So I snuck in and I rode the park course before anyone else. So stuff like that is unbelievable to me that I get to do that. So how, you know, and it's been such a defining force in my life that, you know, if you were to look around our house, you'll see many, many skateboards. All of our kids skate. And when we go and travel, the first stop in our travels, even if we're on vacation, is the skate park. Not because I want to go there, but because they want to go there. So I just become their filmer.
All right, Blake, another question.
All right, thank you. And I have one more question. Who was or is your biggest inspiration, and did they help you become the successful skateboarder you are?
Well, one of my early inspirations was a skater named Eddie Alguera, because he was very innovative with his tricks, but he was innovative at a time when no one really cared about skateboarding. But because I was doing it, I was watching him, he inspired me to learn some of my first advanced tricks, and also inspired me to figure out my own tricks. So he was one of the early inspirations. Beyond him, Steve Caballero, who's still a pro skater, because he was small like me at the time, and he was able to do these big aerials. And when I started skating, I wanted to fly. And so I identified with him because he was small and he could fly. And we still skate together to this day.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. We have Iris next. She's very excited.
Hi, Iris.
Hi. What is your biggest fear while skateboarding on a half pipe?
I think my biggest fear is unexpected falls, because part of what we do is falling, but in a sort of controlled environment. Like when I fall, I kind of know ahead of time that I'm going to fall and I prepare for it. Or if I'm in the air and I feel like something's wrong, I just kick my board out and I can slide down on my knees safely. I do it all the time. But those unexpected falls, when you think that everything's okay and it's not, those are the ones that I'm more scared of. But you don't know they're going to happen. So it's not until afterwards where you go, man, I should have thought of that differently. My approach should have been different to that. But as of right now, like I said, I'm coming back from this big injury. And so all of my falls are very deliberate these days. I'm not trying to put myself in a position to take an unexpected fall. But when I get to that point, I will be scared of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Carter up next.
I forgot.
Where's your favorite place in the world of skateboarding?
Where's your favorite place in the world to skateboard?
My ramp, which is here in San Diego where I live. I have a warehouse that it's my office. It's where my businesses are, but really the reason I have it is because it's the place where my ramp is. And
It's
my
like an
happy
amusement
place.
park. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Tony. That's the one that Tony invited us to take a group of kids with cancer to. So it's like having an amusement park in your backyard. Like you go back there and he would do all these tricks and it's amazing. It's like a real life. You can go high, you can do everything. I know all of these kids at the end of this are going to go, hey, Corey, help us learn how to fall. And can we get one of those in our backyard? But anyway, Tony, can you talk a little bit more about, you were just saying that it's your happy place.
Yeah, it's just it's where I feel most comfortable. I know the ramp well. I can go there without any people. Like I don't have to perform in front of a lot of people. I can take things at my own pace. It's just where I can really skate on my own terms. And so that's what I love about it. And also it's a perfect ramp. It's the best purchase I ever made with the money I made from skateboarding.
Thank you. We have Peyton up next. Come on down, Peyton.
What goes through your head when you fall again and again and again?
That depends on how many falls I've taken. I would say usually what goes through my head is, this is possible. You can figure this out. You can do it. And then at some point I keep making the same mistakes and the internal voice gets angrier. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Just do it. And then at some point, I think I do not want to climb these stairs again to go try this trick again. Just make it so you don't have to climb the stairs. It's that simple sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julian.
When you started to become famous, how did your parents deal with it?
Oh, my parents liked it very much. My mom would often tell strangers that her son was Tony Hawk, which got a little weird. They were very proud, and I think they were more proud that I was able to do that while doing a sport that was not traditional, not something that was considered popular, and that I was able to sort of overcome that and still have a sense of success. So they were proud. In the early days, they were concerned because it wasn't really a way that you can make a living. So they wanted me to figure out what I was going to do, go to college and get a skill set. And then as those years came, as I was old enough to go to college, suddenly I did have a career and I was making a living. So luckily that all came at the right time and sort of had them more accepting of what I was doing.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have Hannah next.
Over the course of your career, how many injuries do you think you have sustained?
I think that depends on the severity of the injury, how I can answer that. A lot, but maybe not as many as people think. I mean, if I go just by when people say, how many bones have you broken? I've broken 3 bones, but I made sure they were the big ones: my femur, my pelvis, and my elbow. And other than that, I've had a lot of sprains, like ankles, sort of stretching out beyond where they should. And, well, here, I'll show you. This is what my shin looks like. This should tell you something. You see my shin?
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely, that would count as one. Definitely would count as
Well,
one.
that's dozens. That's many scrapes on my chin. So that'll tell you something.
Thank you.
And he always wears protective gear. He always has safety gear on. Just remember that, class.
All All right, we have a few more questions left. All right, here we have Gabe.
Okay. For people who are just starting skateboarding, what advice do you have for them?
Don't expect too much too soon, and keep working at it. You know, it's very, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of trial and error, and just to learn basic tricks, to learn how to ollie can take years. So don't expect too much too soon, and don't get too frustrated. Let yourself learn as you go, and you'll find at some point you're making small improvements, and then one day you'll realize, oh, I'm doing ollies. But it doesn't happen all at once.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait, did you say my name?
Hey, Carter, thanks, Gabe.
Hi. Did you play any other sports? If so, which ones?
I did. I played Little League baseball, and I played basketball in the years before I really started skating, or before I fell in love with skating.
Thank you.
All right, here comes Scott.
What is your favorite quote that you try to live by?
Favorite what?
Quote.
Oh,
Quote
wow.
that you try to live by.
Treat everyone equally, fairly, with respect. You know, everyone comes, we don't know their backgrounds, we don't know their journeys, and you've got to realize that not everyone has the same path as you have, and to be tolerant and respectful.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, now we have Brandon.
How do you stay focused and positive when you're on the road and away from your family for a long time?
I just try to enjoy the moment of what I'm doing, and know that the time will pass and that I will get back there. I don't go away for long periods of time anymore, though. So, and that's on purpose, because I didn't like that I was going away for weeks or even months, and missing important moments with my family and my kids. So I kind of redesigned my life and my choices so that I was able to only go away for short bursts at a time because of that, because it was hard to miss everyone, and you kind of get lost and you become distant, and I did not enjoy that. So I guess what I did to make it better was change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Tony Hawk,
That's a good question.
We really appreciate these kids have been so excited to ask you these questions. They've been practicing for a long time. It's great to see you again. It's been 17 years since I got a chance to talk with you.
You haven't aged a day.
Oh, thank you so much. You too. But you know, I got to go to that skate park in San Diego, and that was so incredible, so amazing to see you there and practice with your buddies and stuff
Thank
like
you.
that. It was
Where are you guys?
We are in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. So just
awesome.
Detroit. Yep.
Yeah, my wife's from Detroit, from Bloomfield.
No way, Bloomfield Hills. Yeah, not too far. I mean, about 30 minutes
Yeah.
away. Wow, small world.
Here,
So,
well, I want to show you guys something.
please.
And Adriana's, then we all have our questions. We had to really think of ours, since your students came up with some really fantastic ones.
They've been practicing.
I have a few, but I want to show you. These are some of my X Games trophies.
Oh, wow.
But this one is for the best trick in 1999 for 900.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That is so neat.
And then this one is from 3 years later. I did it in a best trick event in Philadelphia X Games.
Wow.
So-
Whoa.
Thank you.
It's
so
like you guys are in his house, like you're in his office hanging out with Tony
You are.
Hawk.
This is
I
my
mean,
house. Yes.
This is like
would
so
show you-
cool.
I would show you my first skateboard, but it's at the Smithsonian.
I heard that. That is amazing. All right, Adriana, you're up next.
Hi, Tony, Adriana.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us. This is amazing.
Thank you.
firstly, congratulations on such an amazing documentary. It's so moving and inspiring. I really enjoyed watching it. It shows both your wonderful and successful moments and also the challenges and dark side of being a professional athlete in an extreme sport like skateboarding from a young age. When you look at yourself then and now, what advice would you give to young skateboarders and young athletes who might be in a similar position you were in a summary?
I would say, as much as fun it is to compete and as fun it is as it is to be successful, enjoy the camaraderie of all of it. Enjoy that there are different styles and different people that are doing what you do and that you all share this passion, because it's easy to feel like people are competitors and there's animosity. And I think that if you approach it more that this is amazing, we all have this opportunity and let's enjoy it together, that can really change how you do it, your approach to it, and how much you enjoy it. Because at some point I was so fixated on winning events that I was not enjoying the ride.
Yes, I remember that watching it, and I was wondering that too. You got to the top so quickly, and you were so good that it got lonely. And you mentioned that you had to sort of regroup and find your new passion in it again. So that's super interesting.
I did, yeah. It was. I guess you kind of get stuck in a rut. You get stuck in a cycle of doing things, and then suddenly you realize that it's no fun.
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of get away from skating to get back to enjoying it and not competing, just doing it because I liked it. And that allowed me to re-enter competition with a new attitude.
Great, thank you. I remember seeing you skate the half pipe for the first time at during one of your special fundraisers. Andrea and I attended with Little Star Kids. All the kids with little skateboards were running around, anxious to see you, and among our all of us at the audience were so excited to see you and your friends to come on. So when you came on, I couldn't possibly imagine for someone to fly up so high, manage to flip upside down, touch the DJ's table, pause for a second, and then to manage to land in such a perfectly smooth manner, completely unfrazzled in front of so many people. So what goes through your head during these kind of moments, and how do you manage to stay calm and so focused, fully focused?
I think that what goes through my head, I think that I never let my thinking go to, oh, what happens if I fall, or I might fall on this. It's very much like, I can do this. I have all the elements to this, all the pieces to it. Like when you said, I forgot that we did that thing with the DJ table, but if I jump up to the DJ table, it's like, well, I have jumped up to something before on a vert ramp. I am able to come off of it and keep my feet on the board. And so because I have that experience and that confidence, that's my approach, is that this has been done before. I'm capable of all these things and I will make it. And sometimes that's all it takes, is that positive thinking and that sense of confidence.
Got it. Oh my gosh, so amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, hi Tony. My brother was a big fan of yours from the age 10 to the 13, and then he eventually gave up because after the many falls and many ripped jeans. So what is a funny experience that happened to you that you still laugh about to this day?
What is the well, there are many. I think one time I went to a big event and it was in a new town that had not had a big skate event before, and they were very excited, and they had a big half pipe, and the crowd saw me coming and they were very excited, and I was putting on my pads and everyone's yelling, come on, go, go, go. And when I dropped into the ramp, I had just put together a new skateboard and I didn't realize that I put on one of the trucks backwards. So when I dropped in, my board went the other direction and I fell dropping in. First thing everyone saw of me that day, and many people who had never seen live skateboarding, and they're like, that guy's not very good.
I love it. Thank you
Thank you.
for sharing that.
Rebecca, you have anything you want to share before I step in?
I do. So one question. So you've shared so much with the world about you and throughout your career. Is there anything that you feel we don't know, or anything else that we should know about you that's very important?
I don't, well, I guess I never have felt a sense of importance that I think anyone needs to know anything about me, but I guess just that, my life is not some fantastical experience. Yes, I have amazing opportunities, but for the most part, I'm just here. Like, took my daughter to school today. I did an interview right when I got home. I ended that interview to get online with you guys. I will be going to my office to record a podcast and to do some skating. And then I will be finished in time to get my daughter from school and doing whatever she has planned for us after that, because she doesn't drive. So I am her chauffeur. And so behind the scenes, my life is pretty normal dad life. Do you know what I mean? It's just that I get to ride my skateboard as part of my job, and travel the world. And so I feel very thankful, but for the most part, if you were to hang out with me for a day, you might think I'm kind of boring.
Doubtful.
Right. Thank you.
On part of your skating career, on your skateboard life, you turned pro so early. I turned pro at 14 and was 2 in the world at 16, but you turned pro and everybody, it was a different atmosphere because the world was discovering skateboarding. So what, when you went to school, your focus was on getting back to getting on the ramps. So were those the only friends that you associated with eventually, was just in the skateboard community, or how did your peers in school relate to you? And if they didn't, how would you give a suggestion to kids that are in school and someone, whether it's skateboarding or tennis or piano or whatever that is, and their peer group at school, they don't get them? How do you have a communication or a conversation with someone to say, no, but this is cool. It's okay. You don't like that. We're different. That's cool. How would you do that now? Because so many kids look up to you.
I think I just approached it with my own self-confidence in terms of, I love what I do, and you're not going to distract me from that or deter me from doing it. And so if you don't like it, then I'm sorry you don't like it. But maybe I can give you some sort of sense of why it's important to me and show you this world. And perhaps you could give a better understanding of it. There were a few friends that I had in school that didn't skate, but I did stay friends with them. It was just more that when we were out of school, our worlds didn't really collide. So that was more what was going on with me, is that because I spent so much of my time at the skate park, that became my second home, my second family and set of friends. Some of them, a few of them went to my school, but not many. And it was fun. I mean, I kind of embraced being different at some point. I stopped trying to fit in. I just enjoyed that I was different, and that I had this other, I don't want to say life, but I had this other set of friends and this passion that gave me so much enjoyment. No one was going to pull me away from it.
Great answer. Okay. So last 2 questions. When I used to play tennis, I felt like my tennis racket was an extension of my arm, and it just flowed for whatever reason. In skateboarding, you have to let go of it at some point. But did you ever have that, like how surfers feel that connection with the ocean and their board? Did you ever have that relationship with your skateboard where it felt like sometimes it's just part of me?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I would say up until last year when I broke my leg, I was feeling like that very much. And now I feel like it's part of me, but there is a slight weakness and disconnect from my hip to my skateboard on one side. So I'm getting through that, but yeah, for sure. I feel like you put in so much time to learn these things that at some point you get in a zone where, yes, it's just an extension of you, and things sometimes come easily that way. Not always, but I would say when I am in a groove and I feel my rhythm when I'm skating like an event, everything just comes out naturally. And at some point, I will literally just be singing along to whatever music is playing while performing these moves, because I'm just in this zone. And yes, it's an extension of my body.
Wow. In the documentary, your family was in there, and I've known your family from decades past, but it was especially profound, where it showed you on the ramp and going through some tricks, and then you were with your mom. And so many people know you as the guy, whether it's in the video games or on the skateboard, but you have a heart, not just for your family, but for people. You build skateboard parks, and you go in communities and let these kids have a chance to do what you got to do. And that's super important to you. So can you share a little bit about that? Because there's a lot of great professional athletes out there. They're doing a lot of wonderful things. There's, you can look in any genre of sport and find that, but there's really no one that has stepped out in a way that you have. And all of a sudden there's a park there for them to do this, and you're still doing it, and you still do it with love and care. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, that all stems from, like I said, feeling like the place where I truly belonged was at the skate park, and not because it was my training grounds, but just because it was a sense of community. And we were a bunch of misfits that all came together for this love of riding a wooden plank with 4 wheels. And it was never lost on me how lucky I was to have that place, because the skate park I grew up skating at was one of only 5 in all of the US. And the only one in Southern California. And I knew how lucky I was to have that place. So when I had some sense of success and maybe a voice that could affect change, the best thing I could do with that is to provide these same facilities and these same gathering places for kids who feel disenfranchised, for kids who have chosen to skate. Maybe they feel a little different. Maybe they don't feel like they belong in their peer group or in the sports that are offered to them, and they choose to skate. But for the most part, they're told they can't skate because there's no facility for them. They're skating private property. They're hopping fences. They're doing whatever they can to make the world their skate park. And so what I wanted to do was to be able to provide the facilities that are safe, that are designated, and for them to be able to go and find their crew. And it's my proudest work, for sure. I mean, we've been doing it for 20 years. We've helped to build over 700 skate parks now in the US, and in your area too, in Michigan. In fact, I just went to an opening outside of Detroit recently at Chandler Skate Park. Like I said, it's the proudest thing I can do, but it's also stems from me growing up and being very lucky that I had a place like that.
Okay, so Corey's class is going to end this, and before we end it, you mentioned a couple sports that you used to play, Tony. You're pretty good at tennis too. Okay.
Thank you. Not anymore, but I appreciate it.
I've seen you play quite a bit of tennis. You're pretty good at it. So anyway, it truly is an honor. It's great to see you again. We will keep you in our prayers to heal well and to do well and be well, and same for you and your family. So Corey, let's show our appreciation to Tony, and here we go.
At the end of the day, every day in my classroom, we do highs and lows. So if you don't mind, we're gonna do a few highs and lows, if that's okay with you, Mr. Tony Hawk.
Sure.
So come up and share a couple of their highs. Angelo, come on up. So this is our end of the day routine. We come together, we share what went well, what did not go well that day. And I figured that it was fitting for us to end today with doing highs and lows. So this is Angelo.
Sounds
Hi.
good.
My high of today was this podcast and how many great questions there were.
Oh, thank you. Mine too.
This is Max coming on up.
My high of today was meeting you, Tony. and having the chance to be on this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Who else?
My high is the inspiration that this podcast can give out to the world.
And we didn't tell any of these kids to say this, by the way. This
is coming directly from
this
them.
is
Yeah.
This is a
No,
cool
I appreciate
thing
it.
Yeah, what Corey does in his class, where it's like what anyone can do, and we want to share that with audiences. Anyone who's listening, sometimes your day goes really well. Sometimes you get to talk to Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just by yourself, and so in those moments, to reflect on that.
Thank you so much, Tony. This was such
Yeah.
an
Thank you
honor.
so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
Tony.
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
All right, take care.
Appreciate it.
All right, say hi to your
See you
family
guys.
too. Okay, bye. Catch you later.